Passer le pouvoir à un anglophone. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'aventure? Ah mais c'est le président. Un pauvre qui vote ou celui qui l'a rendu pauvre. Si on était bien au pays, est-ce qu'on allait prendre la route de l'étranger? Ah mais c'est le président. À l'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Vraiment. Au Sénat, comment pouvez-vous nommer un individu à un poste pendant 25 ans, 20 ans, directeur de tant. Vous partagez le pouvoir avec vos familles. Vous partagez le pouvoir avec vos amis.
Hi. Good day, the beautiful people of the Cameroons, the beautiful people of British Cameroon, and the beautiful people of La République du Cameroon. Once more, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Today, I've come to talk about CNU rebranded CPDM under President Paul Biya for the last, 42 years. I understand most often militants of the ruling CPDM political party, sometimes I don't like to use the word ruling because they are not ruling. In order to rule, you must know how to govern a country. I understand 6th of November, they always come to celebrate. And in order to celebrate something, you should have a reason why you are celebrating. So I will be diagnosing, I will be giving an appraisal for 42 years of CNU rebranded CPDM under President Paul Biya of La République du Cameroon. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will always make this very clear to most of my viewers. I am a leader of British Cameroon National Party, and the aim of our party or any opposition political party is to scrutinize and to hold the government to account. So we should understand that the job of an opposition political party in a democracy is not to come and thank the head of state, President Paul Biya, is to look at the loopholes, is to scrutinize them, is to look at the things that they are not doing properly, and I point them out, telling them that British Cameroon National Party, what alternative have we got if we are in power? And to tell them that we are a government in waiting. Opposition is not just about election. People cannot always sit and be talking about 2025. What happened for the last 60 years in the Cameroons? Today, as I speak, there are people in the Cameroons, they don't have electricity, they don't have water, they don't have food, they don't have good roads, they don't have good hospitals. So those are the things we should be focusing on, not about 2025. 2025 is sans object to us, British Cameroon National Party. If you govern a country, it's about the daily things that are happening in the country. And that's where the opposition in the Cameroons have failed. And as I said before, British Cameroon National Party have come to fill that vacuum where there is a non-functional government and a non-functional opposition. So tomorrow we mark, 42 years since Mr. Biya have been in power. And If you ask me as a leader of British Cameroon National Party, I have nothing good to say about the CPDM political party because they have no clue. And if there is any person in the CPDM chop people their money political party who have got something good, let them come, let's have that debate. Because to me, if I have 3 words for the CPDM political party is what? Destruction, destruction, destruction. When President Paul Biya first came to power, he talked about what? New Deal. And on this program today, I'll tell you that Mr. Biya is a copycat because he was using the word New Deal without knowing the meaning of New Deal. President Biya also talked about rigor and moralization. So for the last 42 years, I want to see if there have been rigor and moralization in the Cameroons. Mr. Biya labeled himself that he was bringing what? New Deal in the Cameroons. President Paul Biya of the Cameroons copied that word, New Deal, from President Roosevelt of the United States of America. He is the first person who coined that word, New Deal. And he was very clear, he had a vision. What was that New Deal? I've read all over. I've looked on Mr. Biya's New Deal. I don't find a single objective or word that describes what was Mr. Biya talking about New Deal. Clueless. It was just loud sounding words. Clueless. He was copying President Roosevelt talking about New Deal. I understand. What was President Roosevelt talking about New Deal? I'll tell you about it. Mr. Biya just copy and paste without understanding what was the New Deal. To them, it was about still living together, a new vision. Ask them about the vision. They don't know the vision. And as we say on this party political broadcast, the new vision was about corruption, embezzlement, torture, treating people of the Cameroons like second-class citizens, some of them. In 1932, when President Roosevelt was nominated to stand as a candidate, presidential candidate, he brought this word New Deal and said, I pledge to you, I pledge to myself to a new deal of the American people. That's what President Roosevelt said. So between 1933 and 1938, that's when President Roosevelt promised to implement this new deal. Why was there a new deal? Because of the Great Depression in America in 1929, the Great Depression, recession that affected the entire world. So when President Roosevelt was elected president, he pledged this new deal. And when he came to power, the first phase was what? Banking reform, emergency relief program, work relief program, agriculture program. Then the second phase was Social Security Act, migrant worker program, program to tenant farmers. So the program was clear. Because of the Great Depression, he brought this new policy and reform to improve the lives of the people of the United States. But when we look in the Cameroons, they talk New Deal. What is New Deal in Cameroon? Nothing. The law of diminishing marginal return is affecting the people of the Cameroons. If I look at my life, when I was in primary school, leading to secondary school, when I was growing up, where I was living, it was rare. I never heard about electricity shortage. We had pipe-borne water. When I was traveling in the Cameroons as a boy or baby, I used a flight to travel from Tico Airport. My first time I went to Northwest. We landed at Bali International Airport. That was the life I was living as a boy. Can I compare that life today with what Mr. Biya have brought his new deal of corruption and embezzlement? That's Mr. Biya's new deal. At one point, Mr. Biya even said, I'm quoting Mr. Biya, if people are not corrupt, there cannot be people who will take corrupt. He's saying that because we the citizens, we corrupt those people, that's why they are corrupt. So he is supporting corruption, Mr. Biya. He said that. I'm not making it up. So Mr. Biya encourages corruption in his own words. So for 42 years, as a president of La République du Cameroun and British Cameroons that Mr. Biya have and Ahidjo annex, because I always use my word clearly, British Cameroon have been annexed. It's clear. It's an English word. It's not Bulu, it's not Mokwe, it's not Mungaka. If you know the meaning of annexation, what Mr. Biya have helped to do, one of his New Deal policy, is the annexation of British Cameroons. He said it in France. I interuse the word assimilation, annexation, integration. They are similar words. So if Mr. Biya said we try to integrate them, we try to assimilate them, it means we try to annex them. And the annexation is simple. Two countries with different culture. We inherited the French culture and the English culture. That's what we inherited. The English culture, they have their system of ENAM, ENS, military tribunal, France CFA, gendarmerie. That is the English, the French system. They inherited it from France. They are still practicing it. The British Cameroon had another system. We were using different money from them, La République du Cameroun. Different money. We had our own educational institution. They were autonomous, free from state 100% control. We use police. We don't use military tribunal to try civilians. We have a jury system. So they had different system from us. And it happens in most democratic countries. Unity does not mean one size fits all. Unity means we accept our diversity. That we have an English institution in British Cameroon. They have French institution. Then we can live in unity like United Kingdom, where the four countries that came together, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, they are United Kingdom. Nobody have changed their name. Scottish have been Scottish for more than 300 years since they joined England. But where is the name of British Cameroon? La République du Cameroun is the name of French Cameroon that they were using when they had their independence on the 1st of January 1960. That's their name. Where is the name of British Cameroon? That's annexation. So Mr. Biya came to complete the annexation program started by Ahidjo and France. So that's the New Deal of Mr. Biya. Besides, Mr. Biya always talk about, was it rigor and moralization? Rigor and moralization. Rigor is about being extremely careful, like you follow the laws, the rule of law, like the laws in the Cameroon, the constitution says you should not torture people, you should make sure they don't torture them. That's rigor. Moralization is to make a judgment about right or wrong. So Mr. Biya talk about rigor and moralization. I've never seen anything which is connected to that rigor and moralization ever since Mr. Biya came to power. If you look at the corruption rate, the embezzlement rate, Mr. Biya have put most of his ministers and top officials in prison. The Aba, the Titi Sezwa, the Ondongdong, the Atanganakuna, Mebara is in prison. You name the rest. It is Mr. Biya who puts them there. And in a democracy, this is what happens. When you appoint people who comes to power and steal taxpayers' money, at the end of the day, it's Mr. Biya. The buck stops with Mr. Biya, not the people who stole the money. Because in the Western world, in Western democracy, you say Mr. Biya haven't got a sense of judgment to appoint people with probity and integrity. Under the rule of Mr. Biya, Transparency International named the Cameroon as the most corrupt country in the world. Transparency International. Can you imagine? #1 spot in the history of the Cameroons, Africa, and the world. The Cameroons was named as the most corrupt country in the world by Transparency International. Under the New Deal of Mr. Biya, we have got broken promises. Treating other people like we're in an apartheid state. I was in Mancon, Commercial Avenue, Bamenda, the capital of Northwest region of the Cameroons. Mr. Biya promised to personally supervise the ring road and the deep sea port in Victoria. It is more than 30 years today. And some CPDM chop people the money will come and argue and be thanking and praising Biya for destroying the country. That's what you're doing. There is no ring road today. There is no deep sea port. Prime Minister Diongute, a couple of years, came and said, oh, we are starting the deep sea port, and he went silent. These are adults. I'll use this English word, who are liars. They lie. I know in Africa or in Cameroon, you are afraid to call a spade a spade. They are liars. In London, in United Kingdom, where I live, we call liars liars. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, was disgraced and resigned. He was a liar. He lied. That's how we do politics. We don't come and pretend. When we know things, people lie. We don't accept it. Mr. Biya never promised a seaport in Kribi, but they have one. Mr. Biya never promised a dam wherever in the French part of Cameroon, they have one. When Mr. Biya came to the Cameroons as the president of La République and British Cameroon, what did he do? We had 7 administrative provinces. Mr. Biya added 3 more provinces in the French part of the Cameroon. Everybody was silent. Nobody questioned it. Why don't we have more provinces or regions in British Cameroons? In the south, where Mr. Biya comes from, the population is approximately 8,000 people. It's a region. The northwest and southwest will have more population because regions are administrative units based on population. Created far north Adamawa. Why did he not create other regions in British Cameroon? The aim is what? For budgeting sake, to give more money to his people. When you have a region, you have more budget. Look at the population of South. Look at the population of Southwest region and Northwest region. The population is more. In Northwest region, it's almost 3 times than South, but it's a region. So under what grounds or what purpose do we have regions in the Cameroon? Under what basis? In the United Kingdom, we have 12 regions. The country called Scotland is a region. Wales, which is a country, is a region. Northern Ireland, which is a country, is a region. Then the other 9 regions are in England, which is a country. So regions are administrative unit. Nobody should fool you. I'm a Southwest, I'm a Northwest. No, we are not Northwest and Southwest. They are administrative units. That is a fact. We are our tribe and we are the country, British Cameroon. Then they are La République de Cameroon and their tribe. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is that people try to compare British Cameroon with other tribes in the Cameroons. We are not a tribe. Mr. Biya's government have been accepting torture. We have seen that in Wazizi, Martinez-Zogo, recently, La Pro de Banga, Samuel Eboa. These people torture people which are not in accordance with the constitution of the Cameroons. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to look at the CPDM government. I'll come back in a minute. Let me put the light on.
Vous partagez le pays avec vos familles. Vous partagez le pays avec vos familles. Et après quand ils ont volé, vous appelez les papiers, les abchappés. Et après quand ils ont volé, vous appelez les papiers, les abchappés. Qui les avait nommés d'abord dans ce poste-là? C'est toi qui les avais nommés, papa.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, this is a party political broadcast by myself, Maitre Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. When I come on this program, ladies and gentlemen, I come to challenge people who are in power. They have a constitutional duty on how to govern the country. Unfortunately, they don't do that. And when I come to scrutinize and hold the government to account, I am not here to talk about the personal life of Mr. Biya. I'm here to talk about the president of La République du Cameroon. That's how we do politics. Mr. Biya's private life is none of my business. Mr. Tanganji's private life is none of my business. Grégoire Owona's private life is none of my business. Ayolo private life is none of my business. Prime Minister Dion Buta's private life is none of my business. They are in power. They are using taxpayers' money. I'm here to talk about the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon, not Dion Buta's private life. So that's how we do politics. You might see me one day smiling with them. You say, oh, Maitre Alex Ndiveli Singer is smiling with these people. I have no problem with them. I have friends who are CPDM. It's their political opinion. But I'm here to challenge them that British Cameroon National Party have a better political opinion that we can take the country and move the country forward. You see, what the government of Mr. Biya, after 42 years, they don't want to accept, whether they like it or not, institution, English institution that we have, like our legal system, our educational system, our police, will have it back in British Cameroon. They can delay it, but they will not stop it. It's a fact. They cannot justify or tell us when we had an agreement that we should not use our own colonial money, we should use their French money. There is no agreement on that. Take note. There is no agreement. There is no agreement that we have to use their unelected governors, duos, and ministers. In Britain, ministers are elected. You have to become a parliamentarian first, then they will appoint you. Most of the ministers, more than 85%, you have to be elected by the people before the prime minister will appoint you. But in Cameroon, all the ministers are unelected. They cannot even win elections from where they come from. That's the truth. The CPDM have destroyed the Cameroons. The Cameroons is a laughing stock. When I sit here in London, I talk. It's not because I lack something to do. It's because that is where I was born. England, London, it's not my country. I was born somewhere in Africa. And some people are destroying that country. And I am not going to allow it to happen. Yes, the government, the job of the government is to fight corruption, maintain law and order, enforce law, assist the people economically and socially. But they are not doing it. Keep Mr. Biya and his government aside. Most people, be it lawyers, judges, police officers, civil servants, those who are supporting the CNU rebranded CPDM are mostly criminals because they are benefiting from this corruption. If you ask a custom officer in the Cameroons, where did you get that money to construct that house? How much do you earn? They cannot tell you because they are benefiting in the corrupt system. The selfishness among the civil servants in the Cameroon is alarming. They sit and talk about patriotism. All they do is to steal lands that doesn't belong to them, mayors, senators, MPs. Where do they get that money? The members of parliament in the Cameroon, they don't have a job. That's not a job, what they are doing. They disappear, they appear once in their National Assembly or twice a year, then they disappear. That's not a job. Members of parliament in the British system, they work 24/7. They go to their constituency, they solve problems. Every problem. If I don't have electricity, I will go to my local MP, will take it and take it to the prime minister. If I don't have this, local council will do this. That is how they work. But in Cameroon, you see members of parliament, money, riding 4x4. Where do they get that money from? Taxpayers' money. What do? They don't have a job. What I mean, members of parliament, we don't even need them. That's why when a member of parliament in the Cameroons pass away or dies, they don't replace the member of parliament. I once asked that question, why? Because if they replace them, people will kill people to become members of parliament. So the fact that a member of parliament can pass away, die, then they don't replace the person, maybe for 4 years, it tells you that there is no job if they can keep it vacant for 4 or 1 or 2 or 3 years. All those institutions are useless. If you read the constitution of the Cameroons, Mr. Biya and his government, they don't follow the constitution. We talk about that one, about torture. The constitution says you should not torture any person. But every day, they torture our citizens. They do kale, which is illegal. In the English system, if you're a police officer, you want to arrest somebody, you summon the person to come to the police station, you tell them their right, you ask the person, a lawyer must be present, you interview the person, you record it or so. That's how we do it, not gendarmerie. Because the gendarmes, there's no more police in the Cameroon. All those police officers, they just wear police clothes. But they are not police, they are gendarmes or bees. Because police officers don't torture people. In the UK, if a police officer tortures you, he will stand trial. He will go to the court, he will go to prison. There can be 1 or 2 rogue police officers, but the majority of police officers, they don't torture people. They just wear police uniform, but they are what? Gendarmes and bees. That's not how police they behave. I've had family members when I was young. I was growing up. They were police officers. But now, they put on police officers, but they are gendarmes and they are bees. They are not police. This is something we should make clear. Because they put on police uniform doesn't mean they are police. They have the culture of gendarmes and bees and French military to torture people. The New Deal, the rigor and moralization of Mr. Biya haven't come to stop torture. My brothers and sisters, the people of the Cameroon, my mommy and papa, them, people where no day. When I was a child growing up in Boya, my life was better off than now, people living in that country. When I was growing up in the Cameroons, there was more freedom of speech before Mr. Biya came to power. I used to speak. Nobody was torturing me. But people are saying that Mr. Biya brought democracy. There's no democracy in the Cameroons. Mr. Biya doesn't come and talk and challenge, answer questions, talk to the press. He doesn't do that. So there's no democracy. Democracy in Cameroon is in theory. One person cannot be in power. One person, I'm not talking about one party. There's a difference. One person cannot be in power for 42 years. If we would have said, oh, CPDM political party have been in power for 60 years, they have had 10 presidents, that's different. I'm talking about one person. My life, our life, one person, one party will just come and swallow all of us, our future. Our future. Who should be ruling the Cameroons today? Who should be the governors, the ministers today? Is it Nyan Jifenji? Is it Mr. Biya? Is it Kabari Jibril? Is it Young Philemon? Is it my lecturer Diongute? Who are the people who are supposed to be running that country today? They are using 1960 ideology in 2024. If the government, the CNU rebranded government, if they believe that they are patriotic, if they believe that they love the country, they should leave the country in peace. I don't believe in transitional government. I believe in the people of the Cameroons to call a constituent assembly and draft a constitution that will reflect all the ethnicities in the Cameroons and the inherited culture of the two countries, La République du Cameroun and British Cameroon. If you have a good constitution where nobody can change it, we don't need transition. It's a fair game. A constitution is supposed to be like a referee, a fair game, a reference book, that if anything goes wrong, we should go inside the constitution, look at it, and we correct it. That's what lawyers they do. If we have legal argument, wherever the legal argument is, we go to the law, the rules of law, and look at it, we solve the problem. That's how a constitution should be. Unfortunately, l'État, c'est moi. The constitution of the Cameroon is individual. Politics of personalization. People don't understand, they don't read the constitution. They just come and say, the Minister of Territorial Administration have said this, the President have said, they don't read their constitution. The reason Why Barrister Yondo Black, they were arrested in February 1990 because they wanted to create a political party, is because Mr. Biya's government, they don't understand the laws and they don't read the laws. Because a constitution cannot say, Maitre Yondo Black, they are entitled to create a political party. Then you arrested them. The GOs, they don't know the law. The unelected governors, they don't know the law. The unelected SDOs, they don't know the law. The unelected minister, they don't know the law. All countries. America, they are voting a new president today. You see, Donald Trump goes and talk with people, put his point. Harris does the same thing. People debate. Parliamentarians, they debate. There is no official opposition in the Cameroons. Opposition needs to be part of our institution, which I mean, their duties have to be engraved inside the constitution. Opposition, they need to have a shadow cabinet and they need to pay them in order to scrutinize and hold the government to account. When you sit in Cameroon, you say our streets are dirty. I see fellow British Cameroonians. I will use them British, they are annoyed that Maitre Alex the singer is saying our streets are dirty. If you don't like what I'm saying, clean the streets. Why don't you clean it? Our streets reflect the dirtiness in the bedroom, in the sitting room, in the kitchen of those who are running that country. When you see how dirty our streets are, know that that's how their bedrooms are. When you see those dirty streets in the Cameroon, know that's how the senators, the members of parliament, the mayor, the unelected governor, they are dirty inside their own houses too. If they were clean, they would not like to see our streets filled with litter. People who have no shame, some of them, they will just come and say, we just had an independence. Before we were colonized, we were existing. Africa is called the mother of all continents. We were living before they colonized us. So colonialism is not an excuse why we are not developed. Qatar was under British protectorate. 1971. Look at Qatar, a desert. Cameroon have got everything. Everything that Saudi Arabia hasn't got. Cameroons have got everything that Dubai haven't got. Cameroon have got everything that Lebanon, Gaza haven't. Look at Gaza that have been in war from time immemorial. Gaza is more developed than the Cameroons. They have motorways. Gaza, Lebanon that have been in war from time immemorial, they are more developed than the Cameroons. Afghanistan that have been in war for time immemorial, they are more developed than the Cameroons. And let me tell you why. If you change Mr. Biya and put whatever opposition leader, the Cameroon will not change if they don't come and tell us, how are you going to stop France? The reason we are suffering in the Cameroons is because Cameroon have been sold to the West. We have cocoa. We have timber, natural resources. Why can we not industrialize our country? Why do we keep on exporting it to? Do you think Maitre Mola Alain Divelisinge cannot do what Glencoe is doing? Selling commodities? What Savannah Energy is doing with our oil? We can do it as Cameroon, people from the Cameroons. We have engineers, we have experts all over the world who are from the Cameroons. So why do you keep on giving our diamond, our gold to foreigners? That is why we'll never develop. A government that loves the country, if there's diamond, if there's any international job that they want to give, or our electricity company sold to foreigners, water company to foreigners, why can't you give it to experts, engineers, to the people of the Cameroons who are all over the world, experts? Okay, I want to do a deep sea port. You take it and give it to a French company or European company. There are people from the Cameroons, be it back home or abroad. We can develop that deep sea port without bringing these people, Europeans. We can do it ourselves. And if the ruling CPDM government cannot do it, send along and Metro Mola Alex Develisige. You are talking about this, how can we do it? We will do it, and the money will remain in our country. All the contracts in our country, the top contracts, even to construct stadium, either you give it to a particular tribe or people abroad. That's why we'll never develop. We don't need to be exporting our cash crop anymore. We don't need to. The policy of British Cameroon National Party is simple. If these Western people, they need our timber, they need our cocoa. If Nescafe wants our coffee, Nescafe, come and open an industry in the Cameroons, employ people, do it in the Cameroons, then you export it back to your country. That's what we are going to do. If you need our timber, come and manufacture it in the Cameroons and create jobs and export it, the finished product, to your country. Those are the policies of British Cameroon National Party. We are not going to be exporting those things anymore. You have to come and open an industry so that the people who should benefit from it, we cannot be selling cheap natural resources and we expect to be developed. So ladies and gentlemen, one thing I always make it clear, there are things that we can stand shoulder to shoulder as the people of the Cameroons. If Maitre Mola Alegun Divelisige come and say our streets are dirty, regardless of your political party, you have to stand shoulder to shoulder with me and let's know how we can remove those litters in our street. If Maitre Mola Alegun Divelisige says there is a way to use our natural resources that will create jobs by industrializing our countries, why can the government not send his hand? Maitre Mola Alegun Divelisige, come. How can we create jobs to our people? People die every day in the Mediterranean to come to Britain. Why? Today there is insecurity, mostly in Northwest region and Southwest region. Okay, some people will say it's the Anglophone problem. If the government of Mr. Biya was creating jobs, go and create an industry in Wum, in Kambe, in Oshengingo, in all those villages, even in Manu, those people will be busy working, earning a living, rather than taking arms that they are fighting you. They are fighting you, Mr. Biya, because for 42 years, you are a do-nothing government. The government is not as if you have monopoly of knowledge. If you don't know policy, you don't know how to industrialize the Cameroon. Why don't you speak to some of us? In any society, whether it's in the European countries or America or in Africa or South America, if you don't create jobs, there will be crime. Most of these people who hold guns, they are fighting. Have you ever created a job for them? We can manufacture, create an oil company in one of these villages, create it in this other village. These young people who are unemployed, they will have something to do. They will earn a living. It is cheaper for them to be employed in their villages than for them to go to Douala or Yaoundé or Limbe or Boya to go and look for jobs. If you can create jobs in those villages, when I mean jobs, industries. We can create industries where they will be producing changshoes in a village somewhere, in Kambe Wum. We can create industry where they will be producing soap. People use soap every day in Wum or in Kambe, whatever. We can create industry. There are so many. Whether you make matches or whatsoever, there's a lot of things to do in that country. But the government will prefer to import things from outside. I expect Mr. Biya, having been in power for 42 years, we should have had about 20 CDC in other parts of the Cameroons. 20! 300 botanical gardens in other parts of Cameroons. If you ask me, what the Prime Minister Tony Blair did for 10 years, I will tell you. I will tell you. If you ask me, what did Cameroon do? Or Boris Johnson for how many years? 3 years? Or Rishi Sunak? Or even Liz Truss, who was there for over 40 days? I will tell you. It is very important if you ask me these things. But if you ask me, what has Mr. Biya done to the people of the Cameroons? British Cameroon, La République du Cameroon, all the ethnicity, I don't know anything. We're still talking about electricity in the Cameroons. Do you know when the British people, they had their first electricity? More than hundreds of years ago. Pipe-borne water. First underground train, we are still struggling to construct motorway. When these people, they had their first underground train more than 167 years ago. Underground, surface train. Going under the ground is difficult. There was no technology. Today we have technology. We cannot construct motorway. Because all we know is corruption, embezzlement, and putting people who are thieves. Biya's government is known to have, it's a government that will say it kills knowledge, suppress intelligence. When I was growing up, you can point, oh, this military doctor is this. I look at it. And this colonel, who used to be presidential colonel like this, is it a Bogo? I've forgotten his name. You look at judges in West Cameroon. You see Justice English, all those things. Today you look, you don't even know who are lawyers because everybody in the Cameroon judges, they thank the head of state. They thank the head of state. We don't know who is bright in the Cameroons today because people who are bright, people who are intelligent, people, whether you're a scientist, whether you're whatever field in life, the government is on you, squeezing your neck not to strive. That is a society that we have been living for. The Cameroons is like a crab in a bucket now. Nobody wants somebody. Oh, you're good at this, they mash you down. Oh, you're a lawyer in England, you're a charge and bail lawyer. What's up, lawyer? That's the system that Mr. Biya have brought. People don't respect people. When I was growing up, I had a lot of people I was looking up to. Whether it's a mathematician, whether he was a politician, a lawyer, a military person. But today, there's no respect. The rigor and moralization, there's nothing there. No more respect. People don't even respect their senior. We live in a society that is morally bankrupt. That is 42 years of the Biya regime. The CNU rebranded CPDM, 60 years in power. No morality, no respect. Everybody wants to be in a position to steal. We make as if a government belongs to some particular people. Government doesn't belong to any person. My name is Osman Daya, King of Kings. Look at my works. Those days are gone. Empires have come and gone. And one day, just like Ahijo's regime, the Biya regime will come and gone. But the point I want to ask, how are we going to remember you, Mr. Biya? Why do you treat Cameroonians? They divide each other. People are corrupt. People torture people. People kill people. Nobody does anything. Martinez Zogo. Look at what happened to a journalist. Are you people afraid for a human being to talk? Wazizi. University students being tortured. Lawyers being beaten by Sangalong. Sangalong beating lawyers, putting them on their knees in the Cameroon, Mr. Biya. Is that how you have degraded that noble profession? Lawyers. If you look at Western country, most top politicians, prime minister, presidents are lawyers. But in Cameroon, they don't respect lawyers because Mr. Biya is #1 footballer, #1 armed force, #1 head of judiciary, #1 everything. Mr. Biya, nobody can sit in a 2D and control the whole country. You must allow people, give power to the people. Let them elect governors directly. Let them be responsible for the people. Let the mayor, this list system, you take one popular person and put it in a list, then you put a bunch of dull people, then they vote parliamentarian made up of dull people. They should vote individuals. People who have got probity and integrity. People must come and stand and talk. They should check their record, their character, their criminal records. We put criminals in position. When they are there to steal. We need people with credibility. People who have sterling qualities and character to be in a position. But because of nepotism, Mr. Biya, I can only say your government does not respect the rule of law. Your government does not follow the constitution of the country. Mr. Biya, you have personalized that country. The country is like your property. And no one person can sit, as I say, in a 2D and decide on everything. British Cameroon National Party want to introduce that form of governance that the people will govern themselves right inside their home, starting from the family, before tribe, before town, before city, before nation, before country. The people must learn to govern themselves. We are tired of nanny state. So ladies and gentlemen, if tomorrow you're celebrating 6th November, you're celebrating maybe 1,000 that they have given you, a drink that they have given you, think about the country. Think about those who don't have electricity. Think about those who don't have pipe-borne water. Think about those who don't have good hospital and they cannot afford medical bills in the Cameroon. That's the day of reflection. I want tomorrow, 6th of November, 42 years of Mr. Biya in power. It's a day for reflection, a day for renewal, a day to prepare when we'll have people who will be in position of power because of their competence, probity, and integrity. Not by words, using the word rigor and moralization when Mr. Biya doesn't know what it means. Using the word New Deal that was coined by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. President Roosevelt was clear about what he stood for after the Great Depression of 1929. He came with some policies to improve the life of the people. So ladies and gentlemen, 42 years of Mr. Biya have been 42 years of suffering and mourning. We pray that British Cameroon National Party, with its policy of giving real power to the people, respecting equal status, English institution in British Cameroon, French institution in French Cameroon, will bring those policy and will elevate our people and help our people improve their life and better the life of our people. We will work as a team, not one person deciding on how they should build a road on this place, they should build a port in this place, they should build a hospital. That's not how you run the country. The constitution of the Cameroon makes it clear that the wealth of the country should be distributed to each individual citizen. If you go to other parts of the Cameroon, there are light in some places, there are no light in some places. Some places have road, no person. So how do you distribute the wealth to individual citizens? It's by giving money to all the ethnicities, to their locally elected people. Let them decide if they want road, deep sea port, hospital, or what. The people should decide, not a today. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been a party political broadcast by myself, Maître Mola Alex Ndiveli Singer, the leader of British Cameroon National Party. Have a great day. Thank you.
Tu as seulement oublié, c'est toi qui les avais nommés, oh, tu as oublié. Guélé Raphaël du Kenya, c'est les mêmes qui sont toujours ministres. Ils vont au quartier pour quelques temps et ils reviennent après. Ils font le tour des ministères. Aujourd'hui, ministre de la communication, demain, ministre du sport. L'Assemblée, il y a un vieux. Au Sénat, il y a un vieux. C'est vieux. À la présidence, il y a un vieillard. Dans tout le gouvernement, il n'y a que des vieux. Des vieux, des vieux. Ils ont volé des milliards. Et vous avez amené mon pays à la dérive. Sa Majesté te donne toi, empereur de Opérier, Gissimo, SKGE, la fin de Ponsaba, pour vous partager le pays avec vos familles. Pour vous partager le pays avec vos familles. Et après quand ils ont volé, vous appelez les papiers. Qui les avait nommés d'abord dans ce poste-là?
Real Records.